Hello Mr. Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today I have two replays to show you in the recently buffed tier 10 German tech tree medium tank, the Leopard 1. Now this tank has received a huge buff, and in a nutshell what they have done, they have changed the alpha damage from 390 to 420 per shot. But not only have they done that, they've changed the shell rounds. So it used to have as standard APCR with 268 penetration with a shell velocity of 1500. Now that has stayed the same, but they have changed the premium round from having heat shells with 330 alpha to having APCR rounds as your premium rounds with 328 penetration, but they've massively changed the shell velocity. So your premium heat rounds used to have a shell velocity of 1200. Now here's the thing, your premium APCR rounds now have a shell velocity of 1640, which makes this one of the best shell velocities in the game, and it is fantastic now. It's like a laser. You do not need to pre-aim or lead your shots that much at all. You are just like a sniper. They've also did a few more small buffs to the accuracy, and this tank was always accurate, but it's now from 0.3 to 0.28. Your turret rotation or your dispersion penalty during turret rotation has been buffed from 0.08 to 0.07, and the rotation speed has been buffed of the turret from 40 to 44. And what that has meant, this tank DPM is now fantastic. I've got the DPM on this tank with this build, which you will see shortly, to 3,717, and this tank can shred other tanks now. And yeah, it's really, I've always liked the Leopard, but now that shell velocity is a thing of beauty, and that 420 alpha, you really feel the difference. So that's enough of me going over that. Let's just get into the replay and you can see what this buff has done to the tank. Okay then, so here we are for the first replay where we are on Razarine. There is no enemy artillery in this game. We are platooned up with our good pal, the legend of Swindle 321, in his French wheelie boy light tank, which he really doesn't like, but he's playing it at the moment to try and get the spotting for the TUS contract. So what we're going to do initially from this spawn, we're just going to push up to these ridges in front of us and see if we can spot any tanks crossing, maybe at the sort of A6, A7 area, which I quite often have a lot of the tank destroyers sort of camping there. We might be able to get a few blind shots in, but an enemy light tank has played quite aggressively on this ridge and detected us. So we have to be careful here poking there because well, basically there's bound to be tanks covering this tank, and if we overextend, we're going to go straight into the gun line of the camping tanks and they're going to slap us. So we've got to be careful of that. So we decided to reposition to see if there's any way we can sneak in shots onto this light tank. As you can see, our friendly team have spotted some tanks here. We're going to try and kill this one shot, and I mean that shell velocity, we pulled the trigger, it hits them. It's just so quick, it just travels across that map. And honestly, if you miss shots in this tank now, it's more you're aiming really than anything, because this tank doesn't really let you down with that shell velocity and the accuracy. It's honestly, it's pinpoint. It really is, and it just makes this tank feel so nice to play. I mean, I've always liked the Leopard, and I've always felt it was actually okay, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was like that bad or anything like that. I've always thought it was quite good. Obviously, there was a lot of tier 10 mediums which were really good in the game, but this is now right up there. You can see that grill, it gets spotted crossing, and I only had the smallest of chances to shoot him before he was safe and undetected, but it just hit that tank like a laser. And we are just trying to farm these tanks in the open. You can see we can pick up a lot of damage very quickly in this tank as well. We actually catch this tank, heavy tank on fire, and we put one shot in him. He is now a one shot. We're going to try and go for a blind shot just in case he was still there, but I guess he has moved because we didn't pick up the kill. So we've had a great start to this game. We've lost no hit points, and we've got 2,400 damage with one kill. Enemy E4 is now in the open. We're looking to see if we can find a shot at this E4. We could try and go for a cupola snipe there. We either pen the cupola or we hit the side of his turret, but either way we pick up the blind shot on that E4, which is nice, putting us on to just shy of 3,000 damage. We're now waiting to see if these leopards poke up and present us another shot. Now we do shoot, and we went for that enemy grill. Sorry, I said leopard, but grill I meant. We went for that grill, and we actually ended up hitting someone else. So that does at least give us a little bit of information. We know there's more than one grill there. There's another tank there as well. And you know, it's a fairly even start to this game, but we have had a decent one. We've now picked up 2 kills with 3,300 damage. Still, again, got all our hit points, and we've made this position, at least for the start of the game, worked quite well for us, where we sort of punished enemy tanks which got detected, picked up a couple of kills, and it's still a very even game, which is nice. It's good that the game's sort of going at this pace, because it means there's a lot more potential damage for us. Now the leopard, you always have had fantastic mobility. I've got a top speed of 68 kilometers an hour. Good power to weight, so it can get to that, move about the map very, very well. And yeah, its mobility's always been a plus. I think I've got the concealment as well. It's fairly stealthy, down to 273. So the combination of the mobility, the stealth, it's just the gun. It's just a really a really decent tank. It has no armor. The Leopard never has had any armor. But you don't necessarily need that, because you've got the concealment. You don't have to sort of rely on your armour there. Pick up another shot into that bat chat, putting us on to 4,100 damage now, 3 kills. Still got all our hit points, which is very handy for late game, where we can just trade out our hit points if we need to, in order to get damage if tanks are not getting detected. Now we try and get a shot into that bat chat. Unfortunately, we don't. We didn't have a long to shoot at him, but we didn't aim the best shot, and we do miss that, and that's kind of annoying, because the bat chat was on a 1-shot, and the bat chat, even being on a 1-shot, can still do a lot of damage. So it would have been nice to pick up that kill. We do put a lovely one into that grill crossing, putting the grill onto a 1-shot, which he then gets taken out by our friendly E6, and taking out one of the grills from the game. So now on 3 kills, 4,500 damage. You see we've moved to the centre of the map. That's because I wanted to put myself into a position where I could shoot as many different locations as possible. I know for a fact there is still tanks at the A5, A6 or A5, 6, 7 line area at that back of the map. Around about there is definitely tanks. Unfortunately, there are some nasty tank destroyers. I want to be a little bit careful that we don't get ourselves caught out in trouble. This enemy tank destroyer is crossing in the open now. We're going to try and sneak in around into this tank. We do damage his engine, bring this to 5,000 damage and 3 kills there. Again, still got all our hit points, which will come in very handy, because it means we can eat a big shot if we have to. Again, just being very, very patient here. It is a close game. You see, we are technically losing. We are tanked down, but it's still very, very close. Get a nice shot in that medium crossing. Then we pull back round. We do get detected, so we do get spotted, so the enemy tanks know where we are. We didn't get targeted, interestingly, but we do manage to get back into safety, lose our spot, and then again we're trying to poke here and just see if we can extend our view range a little bit to see if we can spot these tanks, which we know are in this sort of 8-6 area. Enemy tank does get spotted, and we're just hoping he's going to come around and present us a shot. At the moment it's behind a rock and we don't quite have shots, but he is getting shot by our friendly tank. Unfortunately, our Waffle E100 now gets taken out by that bat chat, which wouldn't have happened had we have hit that shot on that bat chat earlier. Very, very close game, 5 versus 6, but we are still in this game. It's quite nice when it gets to this sort of stage. We've got a good mobile tank on a map which is quite big, so it gives us lots of opportunities. We have sort of lost the left hand side of the map, but Grill gets spotted, put one in, and then there's an enemy Avery. Now that is a tank which we are not fond of when we were in a Leopard, because he can pretty much take all our hit points away in 1 shot, so got to be a little bit careful with that tank. But with the fantastic accuracy, shell velocity there, we go straight through his cupola, no problem, putting us onto 6,500 damage now. Enemy E4 gets taken out by our friendly platoon mate Swindle in his EBR, and he's now moving forward to see if he can spot those tank destroyers for us in that corner, which will allow us to try and get a farm in. I am thinking right now, I'm a little bit concerned because there was a medium and tank destroyer which crossed the A12 line earlier. If they start pushing across to the castle now, then they're going to have easy farms into us. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. You see I'm reversing round here so I can escape quickly. Hit the grill, get unfortunate, it doesn't actually pen there. I think I damaged his gun maybe. But yeah, I don't get a penetration shot, so it must have hit his gun or something like that. I'm thinking in the back of my mind now potentially moving into the castle so I can get better angles to shoot that grill. Because where he is, he's kind of behind a little bit of cover. Meaning I can only shoot him if he exposes himself. I'm going to try and get myself into a position where if they get detected that they are in the open to me. At least that's my thought process here. Enemy aviary gets spotted. I'm going to try and get a shot in. Unfortunately, I don't pen that shot, which is a shame because he was a one shot. But I should have opportunities to shoot this griller here. We go for the finishing shot here onto the enemy aviary. We do pick up that kill on the deadly tank, putting us onto about 7,000 damage now with 4 kills into a 3 versus 3. We're going to try and see if we can get some more side shots into this enemy Leopard. But then we get detected by a one-shot Russian Soviet medium tank, the 140. We're going to go and just try and take out this tank as quickly as we can. We do take out that tank, and now we need to try and pull back on safety from the line of sight from that enemy gorilla and the other tier 9 tank destroyer, which I think is in the sort of A12 area where I got shot by. Because I didn't get shot by the grill, because that grill would have done a lot more damage to me. Now the grill is detected, and we hopefully can have shots into this tank. So we're looking to try and get the shot in. He's dodging and weaving. We do get one in, putting us onto 7,700 damage. He is a now one shot to us. We really want to pick up this kill to give ourselves the top gun, but we keep fluffing the shot here, which is not good. He's moving all over the place, but we do finally get that kill, bringing us to our 6th kill and just shy of 8,000 damage. We've still got a fairly healthy tank. And at this point, I am just trying to get over there as quickly as I can because I really want to pick up the Devastator. We've had a really good game here, and I want to finish that game off with the 7th kill if possible. So we're trying to find this tank. We get detected. Don't know what I was doing there with that shot. I completely fluffed it. I should survive his clip here, and I just want to pick up the kill, and thankfully we do pick up the kill. Maybe could have got a little bit more damage if we didn't fluff that one shot, for just poor, to be honest. But we do end up getting 7 kills, 8,300 damage, 5,000 assistance. I think we blocked 1,000 damage there, which is interesting for the Leopard. You can bounce those shots at the extreme angles. Yeah, we did. And we have a really nice game there for the first replay. So, yeah, getting the Ace Tanker, the Devastator, the High Caliber. That's it for replay number 1, though. Let's move on to replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. This time we are on proc, and they do have 2 enemy artilleries in this game, which is never ideal. I don't think they have any light tanks though, which is nice, and it is the encounter variant of proc. So initially we're just going to go and try and play the mid-ridge, use our 9 degrees of gun depression that this tank has, and good concealment, and see if we can spot anything nice and early. Maybe spot enemy artillery would be nice. We get one shot into the Super Conqueror there, and then we eat one in return, and we try and pull back and be safe, because there's a lot of guns. We've got to be very, very careful at the early stage of this game that we don't overextend ourselves and get slapped and destroyed by one of those big tank destroyers which could be in the background. Proc is always one of those games where you need to be a little bit careful at the start. You don't overextend, especially when you don't have much armour. Enemy artillery is looking at us. This is obviously going to be the bane in our life here. But thankfully with the RT detector symbol, the Fun Police detector symbol, it allows us to try and move and make it at least difficult for the enemy artillery to shoot us. We really want to punish that Super Conqueror before he gets in the bowl. We do so putting him onto a 2-shot to us here, because now that Super Conqueror is in the bowl, he's just going to be able to continuously spot us until he's removed. He should in theory be a very easy target for our artillery to shoot though in that bowl, because he's not got much mobility at all, and there's nowhere for him to really move and stay undetected either in the bowl. And he does then get shut down by our friendly E50M, and now we're just going to try and go back to this and to just keep trying to spot stuff. Like I say, Proc's always one of those games you have to be When there's two artilleries in a game, you can't just sit there, you know, and just eat it. I have to keep moving when he's looking at me, and just make it so he kind of wasted his time by looking at us essentially, and hope that he just gives up and tries to shoot someone else. Because the later the game goes on in proc, the more tanks die, the easier it gets for me in a tank which has good mobility and concealment. So enemy TVP goes into the bowl again. Again, this is my priority number 1 now, because whatever happens, he's going to spot us because he's so close. Going to proxy spot us. I want to try and remove that tank as quickly as I can, but just bearing in mind, you know, I know tanks are down the 1-2 line. I know they can shoot us, so we're only poking as little as possible. We do now put him on a 1-shot, put ourselves onto 2,000 damage and 1,000 assistance. Constantly looking where the artillery is shooting, because I know they're facing that way now. Gives me a little bit more time until they start looking my way. I'm hoping to try and finish off that TVP in the bowl. Looking to try and find a kill shot, but again, always alert at the fact that tanks are down the 1-2 line. Our friendly artillery shoots the TVP, takes them out. That's going to give us more freedom. Because if tanks don't now push under, we get rid of like the mad rush where all the tanks are under the bowl. If we remove those tanks, we're going to have a lot more freedom of staying undetected, aren't we? And that's going to allow us to outspot targets. That's at least our plan here. So we do spot an enemy tank destroyer there, slap one in with that lightning shell velocity, pull back down, enemy fun police, enemy artillery, detector symbol's gone off. We're trying to get out of there because he's going to probably put a round into us soon, and thankfully he misses that shot and we can go back. He's now fired. And to see again, just rinse and repeat, try and spot these targets down the 1-2 line, maintain vision as much as possible, because the vision is always the key in winning games on maps like this. I don't want any tanks to, you know, I always want to make it so they're getting targeted if they're poking or firing. Obviously the stuff down the 1-2 line with a lot of bushes down there can be very hard to spot. But when they fire, they lose concealment values, and then it's going to give us more chance of detecting them. Enemy backchat gets spotted. You see, I'm already thinking the artillery is going to look at me, so I'm getting ready to start moving. That hasn't actually happened. He's not staring at us right now. I'm thinking maybe he's focusing elsewhere. But again, target information goes off. Let's get out of there before that artillery shoots us, lose our spot, and then we can try again. Still very even game at 10 versus 11 right now. We've had an okay start, 2,500 damage, 1,400 assistance, but there's a lot more damage in this game. And me, F3005 is moving up. Now obviously I don't want to get hit by that tank because it would really hurt, but he's also going to have a very hard time actually shooting us from that ridge, because unless I really overextend, I'm not going to give him an opportunity to shoot us. And if he really tries to overpeak to shoot us, that tank has no armour, big, easy to hit. It's going to get absolutely slapped. And I'm kind of expecting in my mind that F3005 is going to be the artillery's dream target, and he's going to get focused by the artillery. So if I can just keep him detected as much as possible, he's going to die to artillery. This enemy medium tank to our left, though, that is a problem for us, because that means every time I poke, he's going to have side shots into us. He's also going to detect us, and that's a target which is kind of one I really want to remove this game. It's going to make my life a lot easier if that medium on my left dies. Again, just trying to maintain vision though. Want to just keep the enemy F3005 detected, because you can see our artillery is trying to shoot him. Why wouldn't they? He pokes up. I actually get a shot into him. It puts him into a 1-shot now, bringing us to 3,200 damage and 2,300 assistance. He does get hit by the artillery, and now he is on a definite 1-shot. So it shouldn't be long till that tank gets destroyed. But we are starting to lose this game. It's now 7 versus 10. That T62A is doing a good job there from that position. Artillery comes very close to hitting us there. Any one of these artilleries hitting us is going to cause us a real problem because we don't have any armour. Thankfully our E75 removes the T62A from play, and that again just makes our life easier. The later this game goes on, the more flexibility I'm going to have. With no light tanks in the game, I'm probably going to be, there isn't any bat chats still alive. Other than that, I'm going to be one of the targets with the best mobility and concealment value left, and that's going to allow me to outspot tanks and just have more freedom and more flexibility. You know, when it gets to this stage where there's left tanks in the game, this is when you can really start to shine and start to get your damage. Because I've had an alright amount of damage at the start, nothing, fantastic, but I'm going to have more opportunities to get more damage now. Unfortunately, Swindle gets taken out by the Object 704. We do Cupola snipe that Type 4 though, picking up our first kill of the game, bringing us into a 6 versus 7 now. And now I'm going to try and spot those targets down the 1-2 line, or it looks like our heavy tank is going straight in, so maybe we can try and cover him and shoot what he's actually about to spot right now. The Bat Chat is probably priority number 1 if I can remove that tank from the game. It's just going to allow me to outspot targets. Enemy artillery does get spotted, and it's time to take a little bit of revenge on this enemy artillery. He shouldn't in theory be able to get out of here now. We do pick up the kill, killing one of the piggies with only one more piggy remaining, bringing us to 4,200 damage, 2 kills, 2,500 assistance, into a 6 versus 6. We are now going to push down the 1-2 line. Batchat comes in to try and kill our one-shot heavy tank. Hopefully we're going to have to kill here. Really want to try and save our heavy tank if we can. We do manage to pick up the kill on the Batchat, which has kept our heavy in the game. And now we're going to try and get some shots into this enemy artillery piece. We put one shot in. He's got to run now. If he doesn't run, he's definitely dead. He's probably going to struggle to escape anyway. We do put one shot in, bringing us to 5,400 damage and 3 kills. Going to try and take out this artillery as he's leaving. Bearing in mind, I know there's a tank destroyer on the train tracks on the other side, because that's what killed our platoon mate, and Swindle did make me aware of the fact that that tank destroyer is there. But now the artillery has been removed, I am zooming straight across that train track in the hope that I am the first there, so I spot them and pick up all the assistance for myself, and if not the damage, because if there's no one else who's going to spot them quicker than I am, so this is going to be all my assistance. We do take out the enemy IS-3-2, and now we've got 3 farms on this enemy heavy tank. We can't enemy tank destroyer, sorry. We can afford to eat a shot off of this tank if we need be, but right now we've got lovely shots in. You can see how good this gun is. You know, we've only got slim shots of that tank, but it just, yeah, you don't need a big shot to aim at with this tank, because it's lightning at APCR speed, lightning shell velocity, and very, very good accuracy. So we're now on about 7,000 damage with 2,500 assistance and 4 kills. Enemy 704 gets taken out. We pick out a bit more assistance for it, and it's 3 farm time on the Skoda T54. He does get into the dip, and we are hoping we are going to get there first. It looks like he might be trying to drown himself here. I'm not too sure. I want to try and get as much damage in as I can here as possible. Probably should go for the tracks. So yeah, he's just trying to drown himself rather than try and fight, which is a shame. But he gets taken out the T92, and that brings us an end to the video. And we finished that one off with 4 kills, 8,000 damage, 3,000 assistance, and the Ace Tanker, the Juicy Medal, and the High Caliber. So, thank you so much for watching. If you do like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe, because it really helps the channel so much. But, as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!